Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me. I'm so grateful to have you here, and I'm very much looking forward to talking about healing, energy healing, and specifically acupuncture today, because I have had the most amazing experience with acupuncture, and I can't wait to share about it because I think everybody should know about this. And I think there are many people that know about acupuncture, obviously. Many people have experienced it. I just wanted to share it from my perspective, right? So again, take it or leave it with what resonates for you. This is just, it's a passionate share on my part because of everything I've learned about it and also the personal experience I've had with acupuncture. So in a nutshell, for those of you that are aware, I had a surgery this past summer and it led to some complications, and it basically led to my body totally falling apart. It was like a perfect storm. It really was a perfect storm of layers upon layers of things that just all of a sudden kind of short-circuited in my body. And the doctors, I saw many doctors. I went to the hospital many times, and each time they would find like a piece of it. But it wasn't until Spirit came through with the guidance to seek out a traditional Chinese medicine doctor for acupuncture. And what was so interesting is it came through one morning. Lisa Richmond, she texted me and she's like, Spirit came through and said, you need to see a traditional Chinese medicine doctor for acupuncture. And I was like, okay. And I was so sick at this point, right? I was like, I just don't even know if I have the energy for anything. And then later that day, Lois, my business partner, texted me and she said, I came across this amazing traditional Chinese medicine doctor who does acupuncture, and I'm going to try and see if I can get you in to see him. And it was on the same day that this happened. And I was like, oh, interesting. Okay, let's do it. Sure enough, she was able to get me in. And this doctor, who, what's so interesting is he is a doctor, obviously of Chinese medicine, but he was also a medical doctor and a surgeon. And he found that he could treat people better and help cure more illnesses through acupuncture than he could by cutting people open. Now, please hear me. I'm not saying that traditional surgery is bad. I'm not going against Western medicine. I really believe there's a balance in all of the medicinal practices, right? From Ayurvedic medicine to sound healing, acupuncture, Western medicine. There's times when different ones are needed. So I'm really honoring all of them, but I want to focus on acupuncture today. Anyways, so he found he had more success that way, and so his practice began to shift to solely acupuncture. And he had the opportunity to work with very high up people in China and Japan, and then finally came over to Canada, taught acupuncture, all this kind of stuff. Anyways, I went to see him and I was just thinking like, I don't know what you're going to be able to do, but I'm here for it, and I'm willing, I'm ready. And he zeroed in so quickly on the fact that my liver was having problems. It was stagnant liver, he said. And apparently the liver is one of the feistiest ones to start to try and fix as well. The liver really, once it gets pestered, kind of wants to fight back. But he was just so positive. He's like, don't worry, we'll get you all fixed up. Don't worry about it. Not to worry. He was so happy, so kind-hearted, so positive, and it just didn't even faze him one bit. And I was like, okay. So I went, and he put needles in random places. I would have thought they would have been all on top of my liver, right? But you have these meridian lines, these energy lines that move through your body, and there are so many of them. And he put some in my legs and some in my face, and I noticed this big flare up, but I could feel something moving after. And I went back again, and he would put these needles in my legs and on my face, and each time I started to notice these incremental improvements. And I was thinking like, wow, can this really be? Like, I did every test possible, from CT scans to so much blood work to all this stuff. And yes, they helped deal with the infection, but the main root of why I was getting sicker was my liver was just like totally stagnant and shutting down. So by going through the acupuncture with him, I started to see significant improvements, and the nausea finally began to go away because I was under the grips of nausea for so long. And what was beautiful is I started to research and ask questions. I started asking questions. I like to understand things, and so every time I went in, and I still see him, every time I went in, I would ask him questions. Why are you putting that needle there? What does that needle mean? Why is it on that spot? What does this one mean? How do they work together? And he explained to me the most beautiful thing, and it just made so much sense. You could tell he was a teacher because he said, acupuncture, each meridian point is like the letter of the alphabet, right? Or the letters of the alphabet. You have to learn each letter. But then to help heal the disease, you need to put those letters together like words. And you need to learn all the different words to help cure different things. So he's like, it's the power in knowing the words, not just the points, right? And that's why to cure my liver, he was focusing a lot on these liver meridian lines in my legs, right? Which I found so interesting. But again, the energetics started to shift. And he said, the most powerful thing with acupuncture is it allows the body the chance to heal. And he said the body has the ability to heal very significantly if it's given the chance and the right information. He's like, the body can always heal itself in so many ways. And he shared stories from different people that he's helped heal from cancer to Alzheimer's, helped decrease the progression of it. You name it, so many different things. And that caused me to start to kind of ask questions about the origins of acupuncture. And so he shared with me that, it's one of the oldest healing traditions that is still happening on our planet right now. And he's like, there's something to that if it's lasted that long. And doing some research, I found that it originated in China, as many of us would likely think. And they even think that maybe it developed in the Neolithic period between 5,000 and 6,000 BC. And they feel that it might have evolved from massage. But in other research that I did, they said it started in China about 3,000 years ago. And they said the first documentation of acupuncture that described it as an organized system of diagnosis was in the Yellow Emperor's Classic of Internal Medicine, which dates back to 100 BCE. And the doctor that I was working with was telling me how in the beginning, before needles were used, they would sharpen long bones and stones to be used for acupuncture. So they were way thicker. So he's like, think about how lucky we are now that these needles are so much thinner. And he said, really, it was developed by trial and error, pushing on certain spots and then putting a needle in that spot and amplifying the pressure and sometimes even twisting the needle a little bit once it's in that spot. They started to first discover this alphabet like he talked about, and then discover the different words. And so it's been this continually evolving process. And it said that acupuncture spread from China to the West along the Arab trade routes and was introduced to Korea and Japan in the 6th century, and then Europe and North America in the 16th to the 19th century. And so what's really interesting is for a long time in the Western minds, acupuncture was seen as kind of, an out-of-the-box type healing modality. But what's really interesting now is more and more people, practitioners, are starting to really realize the benefits of allowing these significant meridian points to bring a certain alignment and cohesion in the body so that the body can use its own energy to heal itself. And that is something I have absolutely experienced 100%. I am totally behind acupuncture for probably the rest of my life, especially because I work so much with energy. And so what's interesting is what Spirit taught me too, is that every time a medium, a channeler, a healer, anything like that, that taps into those higher realms or taps into spirits on the other side, there's an energy exchange that happens. And they explained it to me kind of like pixels, right? So if you take a picture and then you blow it up so wide that you can actually see the individual pixels, each time that there's a communication, there's like an energy exchange of a pixel. And what happens is if you don't ground that energy or disperse that energy enough, those pixels actually kind of remain in you. And so one time, I know years ago, I had a meditation and I saw all these pixels leaving my body. And I was like, what is that? And Spirit was like, it's the energy exchange from readings you've had. I'm like, okay. So I assumed that, it was all released. But what I didn't realize is the toll that all these energy exchanges were taking on my body, and how my liver was kind of housing a lot of those frequencies that weren't being released properly. And so what I learned is that acupuncture, for people that really work with energy, wield energy, or deal in the realms of energy, acupuncture is one of the most significant ways to help release it from the body, by balancing the chi, balancing the energy. Does your body need more chi, or does your body need to decrease the chi? Is the chi balanced in your body? The doctor also explained to me how we can have, say, too much wind energy, which is too much heightened energy, which is something that I get a lot of because I spend a lot of time in those higher realms. And so bringing down the wind energy helps me ground my energy more into earth. And so much opened in my awareness through acupuncture that I would have never experienced if I didn't have to go through this whole healing modality and really understand the way energetics work, which I thought was fascinating. So of course, I told as many people as I could, and I'm sharing this with all of you now. And I've had a couple of people that I've recommended acupuncture to with various different practitioners. And so many of them have noticed amazing results even after 1 or 2 sessions, either an ease in muscle ache or an ease in, maybe chronic symptoms they've been dealing with. The doctor that I was dealing with was even telling me how oftentimes he can help people with different chemical imbalances in the brain, can help the body find those balances. He also has helped different people with, some women with fibroids, and decreasing the fibroid, allowing the body to break the fibroid down naturally so that they don't have to have a surgery. He's helped people, my gosh, so many things. There's just so many things I can't even think of them all. The stories he shares are endless, though, of the value, and the base note of this whole podcast is the fact that our bodies have the ability to heal themselves. They really do, in a lot of ways. Again, I want to say there are some times where our soul journey has reached an exit point and we're not going to be able to heal it at that point. However, we can sometimes extend it a little bit. And he had told me lots of stories of how he's extended people's lives through acupuncture. Somebody who had maybe a week or 2 left to live, and he was able to work with him, and 3, 4, 5 months later, they were still around. So it brings me back to this idea of the body's ability to heal itself, and the body's ability to really be this third entity, this amazing third entity that I am going to be talking about in Cosmic Consciousness on the 20th. So on November 20th, if you're listening to this before, you definitely want to check it out, because I'm going to go into even more detail about the body as a third entity and how it wishes to heal, how it can heal, and what is also involved in that besides just the energetics. Because there's so much interesting information, and this year is a significant year for many people. If you look around you, there are a lot of people that have come face to face with big health issues this year. Normally healthy, robust people suddenly coming face to face with significant health issues. I know I definitely faced mine this summer. And I don't think anybody can face that and come away changed. And part of that experience is giving us the opportunity to look at different healing modalities and different ways to honor our body as it desires as we move forward. So some of that is an invitation to look into what emotions and stress are we carrying. Maybe look into what kind of things are we doing in our diet. What are we doing in our lifestyle? Are we moving our body around enough? Are we resting our body enough? Are we holding too much stress? Are we allowing the mind to take over and the body is just having to deal with whatever the mind dishes out? Are we pushing ourselves too hard? There's so many things. But the thing is, this year is a very triggering and shifting and transformative year for the body because the body is coming online. The body is coming online to be an equal part in our consciousness moving into 2025. And all of that is to give us more power, more capacity to be more powerful co-creators in the universe, stand stronger in our energy and our wants and our desires, and help to create change on this planet as we step up into this higher consciousness and essentially bring ourselves to that galactic level of consciousness. Because again, if I bring this back to myself, because I can only really speak of my own experiences, what I've learned through this healing process is that in order for my body to be able to handle the frequency magnitude of my spirit and the consciousness that I carry now from my different experiences, my body needs serious upgrades. And so one of the ways it was able to experience some serious upgrades was by hitting rock bottom and building its way back up. And so a significant part of that in my journey has been understanding the energy and the energy exchange and how acupuncture can help balance that. So I really encourage all of you to explore other healing modalities as well. Because notice which one is your body drawn to, or which ones are your body drawn to. It might be yoga nidras for rest and relaxation. It doesn't have to simply be acupuncture. My experience was most significant with acupuncture. But pay attention to what your body is asking of you. What have you noticed your body has been trying to tell you or show you, or have you experienced this year? Because there's insights in that, in how you can become stronger and more balanced, and then more harmonious. And then when you're more harmonious, you're happier. And when you're happier, your energy is better. It's all connected in. So notice what your body is telling you. Listen to your body. And you may want to try acupuncture again. That's up to you. But it is really amazing. I encourage you all to research it a little bit if you're curious. Our bodies are these magnificent things that we haven't given enough credit to, I think, in general. I think, my personal opinion, we treat our bodies too much like, again, I'm generalizing, but too much like a vehicle. I know I've talked about it. The body is the vehicle for the soul. The body is not just an empty vehicle. The body is a consciousness. The body is this interacting consciousness. And so we have the ability to create an amazing union between the body, the mind, and the spirit. And that is what is coming up for everyone. So again, I'm going to talk a lot more about that on the 20th in Cosmic Consciousness. So you can join me there and sign up at Avalon Spirit. But for now, I will leave that with all of you. I hope this inspires you to explore the energetics of your body a little bit more. Maybe you look into acupuncture and just honor you. Honor your beautiful body that has carried you this far. All right, everyone, have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you all next week.